Under a capitalist system, there is no real freedom for the working class, right? Let's talk about the working class in the context of the United States, here in the belly of the beast where I happen to live. A majority of people, at least half, can't afford a $500 emergency expense. There's millions of people without health care. There are a lot of people who stay at jobs so they keep their health insurance. Medical bankruptcy is a thing. There's people that take their own lives because of their medical debt. Student loan debt is in the trillions of dollars. So where's the freedom in that system? I guess the capitalist apologists, the capitalist defenders would say, well, you have freedom to, go out in the marketplace and make your name and create wealth for yourself and your family. Well, that's not really accurate. You have the somewhat of a ability to go find what company you want to work for and then have them exploit your labor, because under a capitalist system, the labor of the working class is expropriated from them and funneled up to the capitalist class. Hence why you have people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, right? Jeff Bezos isn't the one out there delivering the Amazon packages to your house. Elon Musk isn't the one in the Tesla factories making the cars. And yet, they are the ones reaping all of those benefits because they exploit the labor of the worker and they take the surplus value that is created through that worker and it gets funneled up to them. And that cycle gets reproduced. Hence why you have increasing amounts of obscene wealth, because capitalism leads to monopoly capital, where you have a few massive companies with very rich individuals at the heads of them, while the material conditions for the working people continue to deteriorate on every level. And then we see that with the GOP passing a bill that would cut funding for Medicaid while also cutting taxes to the rich. And again, that is more or less the same agenda that the Democrats have for the most part, right? Both parties are bought and paid for by the corporate interests, by Wall Street, by the health insurance companies, by the military-industrial complex, by big tech, pharmaceuticals, etc. But, and this is also, needs to be pointed out, a empire in decline. And I saw this meme the other day. It was Karl Marx sitting behind that table, that Steven Crowder table, but with, Karl Marx's face on it. And the sign on the front of the table said something to the effect that the, living conditions, the material conditions in the U.S. had to be propped up a little bit, had to be a little more robust, a little more substantial during the time of the USSR, because the US empire had to keep the mask on, that they were actually capable of taking care of the working people to a certain level. And then after that, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the mask really came off at that point. I thought that was pretty interesting. But you just see the capitalist class politicians, right, who are bought and paid for by the capitalist interests, continue to tear away at what little safety net we do still have, going after Medicaid, which is health insurance for low income and the unemployed people and families, while on the other hand, cutting taxes for the very wealthy. But that is apparently, targeting waste or fraud or whatever bullshit excuse they want to use. But like I said at the start of this video, there's no freedom under a capitalist system. Freedom can only exist in a socialist state where we have a planned economy designed to meet the needs of the people, not designed to generate profit, where people don't have to stay at a shitty job because then they wouldn't have health care, where everybody is guaranteed access to, adequate housing and health care and education and a dignified pension and retirement, etc. None of those things exist in a capitalist system in the United States. But they do exist in socialist countries, even ones under a blockade, such as Cuba, where they have universal health care. They have universal education. They have a government that acts in the interest of the working class because they are for the working class, as opposed to the United States, where we have a government that works in the interest of the ruling class, which is obviously the capitalists. I just think it's so interesting when people say that you have freedom in a capitalist society. What freedom exists in a capitalist society? Truly, if you really think that, how are you free, particularly in the United States? Just another example, the United States is the home of the free, but we have the world's largest prison population. Riddle me that. Peace. Much love.